Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my beloved subject. Welcome to Egyptology. Okay, so what is Egyptology? Egyptology is the study of Egypt. It's the study of everything related to Egypt, related to its advances, technology, everything you know about ancient Egypt. It is called Egyptology. It's the study of everything that is fascinating us about the history of ancient Egypt. Through the study of Egyptology, our students will not only know about their heritage, they will live it. And all of that is coming to you and presented not just by a teacher, but also an expert Egyptologist with 11 years of experience of touring all around Egypt with Egyptians and with foreigners. These are pictures from the famous landmarks in Egypt. You know, like the pyramids, the Mosque of Muhammad Ali, the Egyptian Museum. This is in Fayoum, and this is the palace, Muhammad Ali Palace in Mina, and the pyramids, of course. So, this is Mina 11 years of experience touring all around Egypt, a master's degree holder of Egyptology, a lecturer at the Tourism College, and also a history of teaching. So, this brings us to a more important question. What will our kids experience in this course? Through the years, from 1 to 8, we will introduce ancient Egypt to our kids. We will introduce the descendants to the ancestors, linking the past with the present, and enable our kids to see, listen, and even smell everything like what the ancient Egyptians had. Do you think that I'm exaggerating? I will show you. So, we are going to discuss a lot of matters, controversial matters, I bet you are asking, like mummification, pyramids, a lot of things, the invention that the ancient Egyptians had. And we are going to do this through activities, through workshops, and also through interesting educational techniques, away from the regular boring way. That will enhance the students' abilities to learn, search, and explore life in ancient Egypt. So, now let me ask you a question. Who hates history? Who hates history? If you'd like to, you can raise your hand. Okay, here's one, Ms. Nicholas. Here's 2, 3, 4. Okay, don't be shy. Raise your hand if you don't like history. Oh wow, we have 2 hands here. Okay, very good. Okay, so if you allow me to ask you, why do you hate history so much? Okay, let me rephrase that. Is that you hate the history or because you didn't find someone who makes you interested in history? What do you think? Okay, I would like to hear your answers. If you please, go ahead. Okay, thank you so much. What else? If I can use a mic here. Who else hate history? I saw people back there raise their hands. If you can tell us, why don't you like history? Yes? People who raise their hands. Yeah, here is one. You. I mean, like, why people don't like history in general? Because this is something that made me think a lot. Why people, or why our children don't like history? They don't find it very interesting. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so, well, let me tell you something, that one of my goals, not only as a teacher, but also as a person, is that I want people to know how history is important for us. You know, the thing that says that if you don't know your past, you won't understand present, and you won't be able to predict the future, right? So this is one of the things that I put in front of me all the time and tell all my students that if you don't know the history, you won't be able to predict the future. So this is something that I might find a value in, and I like the students to think in that way. And let me tell you something. The topics that we are going to discuss and the way that we are going to introduce it to the students will not be only like reading and searching and then having an exam. No, it will be actually hands-on. They are going to experience things by themselves. Let me tell you something. If we are going to talk about, for example, talking about the papyrus, you know the papyrus plant. So instead of telling the students that is a papyrus and that is a lotus, we are actually going to show them what is the papyrus. I have here one papyrus, I know it's old, so I have to keep it like this. So we are going to make them not only see, but also to touch. And they are going to know how papyrus are made. They are going to be inside workshops that make papyrus. They are going to try to make them by themselves. So this will give you an idea that our approach shall be. Okay, so let me give you like a quick review over the topics that we are going to discuss in our subject. So first, we are going to discuss the geography of Egypt with the famous, geography of Egypt with the famous towns and cities of Egypt. We are going to talk about the Nile, sailing the Nile from the beginning to the end, and the agriculture. You know that Egypt is one of the first civilizations that started with agriculture, one of the 4 ancient civilizations that started with agriculture, and we are going to discuss how agriculture made Egypt. Also, we are going to discuss the famous animals, birds, and plants of Egypt. And we are going to show them to the students. Of course, we're not going to bring the animals. What I mean, like, they are going to go to museums, they are going to see the mummified animals, they are going to watch them on the scene, like old scenes like this here, and this one here. And they are going to see the plants, like here, we have these 2 magnificent plants. Anyone can tell me what are these things? Any idea? Actually, I have some motivation things. I think I have chocolates here. So, what are the correct answers? Okay, who can tell me? Yeah, which one is the lotus and which one is the papyrus? Can you guess? Yes, we have one here. The right one, this one. This is lotus, and this one? Yes, this one is the papyrus. That's correct. How do you know? By the shape. Yes, that's totally correct. Yes. Here you go. No, that's not for you. Yeah, that's totally correct. It's by the shape here. As you can see here, this is the lotus, and this is the papyrus. Actually, the papyrus, it's like the sugar cane. It grows in stems like this, like the sugar cane, while the lotus is actually it's a flower. And can you guess what this? This pond is in front of what? You know this building? The Egyptian Museum. Yes, this is the Egyptian Museum. And this pond has the lotus flower here floating and the papyrus stems. And this was when I took it myself. Okay, so let me ask you question about the lotus flower. You know that the lotus flower is, there is a common name in Egypt that comes from the name of the lotus. You know the lotus flower is called sesen in hieroglyphs. There is a famous Egyptian name with the same letters, and actually there is a famous foreign name with also the same letters. Can you guess? Anyone? Okay, I'll give you that. You know the lotus is called sesen in hieroglyphs. In Arabic, it's sausan. You know the name sausan? It's from the word of Sesson, and Susan is also from Sesson, the lotus flower. So why the lotus was so important to the ancient Egyptians? Anyone know? Okay. It's important for them because it's a sign of the resurrection, of the afterlife. You see here, all of the people are depicted on the whole scene sniffing from the lotus flower, because if they do that, they are going to be resurrected in the afterlife, because they see that the lotus flower goes under the ground, under the water at night, and then it goes up with the sun. So they thought that it's a sign of the rebirth and resurrection. Okay, so we are going also to discuss the mummies and the mummification. We are going to make the students to do actually a workshop of the mummification. I did that in college with my friends. We made an actual mummification tent, and we were acting as if we are embalming one of our friends. So we are going to make the students to do something like that. Also, we're going to discuss the ancient Egyptian language. And I don't have to tell you that I teach actually ancient Egyptian language in college, so that would be really interesting thing for the students to try to learn how to read and write their names and the names of their families in hieroglyphs. That would be a really nice experience. So we are going also to discuss the pyramids and how they were built. And here's a question for you. Do you know how many pyramids in all of Egypt? All of Egypt. Anyone? Anyone?
81.
Sorry?
81.
81. Actually, they are more than that. Anyone? I think I still have some chocolates. Yeah, I still have. Anyone? Okay, they are more than 81. Actually, they are 118. So this is for me. 118 pyramids all over Egypt. We know the only famous 3 ones in Giza, but actually the pyramids are covering all over Egypt, from Giza to Aswan, and even in Sudan there are a lot of pyramids. Actually, there are 200 pyramids in Sudan, but these pyramids are not big like these ones. And actually, the biggest pyramids in Egypt are only 6. While the 118 pyramids, most of them are small and destroyed, only 6 are tall and huge. So, we are going to discuss also the daily life things, the jobs, the food, the clothing, everything related to the culture and the life of the ancient Egyptians. And we are going, of course, to allow the students to try these costumes, try to make like parties like this. This is not real one, of course. Also, we are going to discuss the games, the toys, and the children activities. Believe it or not, that in the Egyptian Museum there are toys that the ancient Egyptian kids had. And this is one of the famous games and toys. Would you like to guess? It looks like something. Chess. Yes. This is called the Senate game. It's like a religious game. 2 players are playing, the same like chess, and the one who eliminates the other pieces would go to the afterlife safely. So it's like a competition. And actually, some scholars say that maybe this game was the oldest ancestor of the chess that we know nowadays. Also, we're going to discuss the religion of the ancient Egyptians. We're going to discuss the myths, the stories, everything like that, and we are going to make the students to make like play roles and try to act the stories of the ancient Egyptians. We're going to also discuss the women's great roles in these times. And in my opinion, I think the women at that time, they might had more rules in community and more rights than nowadays. We're also going to discuss the transportations, the inventions, the art, and the architecture. Speaking of inventions, can you guess What is this?
A boat.
Yeah, this is a boat. Okay, but what is this that the man is having around him? This is one of the cutting-edge technology of the ancient Egyptians. Not exactly.
Like CV. But
Who said it? Who said it? Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. Give him a hand, please. Can you explain to us how it works? Yeah, go ahead. You can try.
he should tie around his under his arms.
Yes,
Boat.
exactly. How?
And
Can you guess the material that it's made out of? Actually, it's made out of papyrus. It's made out of papyrus. You know the papyrus, I told you it's like the sugar cane. So what would happen if this man goes into the river? Okay? The papyrus would inflate by itself, by the water. It would absorb the water and it inflates, so it makes like a life jacket, so he won't drown. Amazing, right? So, what else do we have here? We have the medicine and doctors. We all know about the great achievements that the Egyptians made, advances they made in the medicine. Have any of you seen this before? In the artificial limb, the artificial leg. It's made like a substitute leg. And these are the surgical tools, and they are actually there in the museums. And there are a lot of collections, not only one collection, but there are collections of these surgical tools used in the ancient Egyptian times. We're going to also discuss the jewelry, the perfumes, the makeup, and the amulets. And this is going to be interesting for the students to make their own amulets, to make their own jewelry pieces. This is one of the interesting things that we can find in the Egyptian Museum. It's a perfume jar, and it was discovered in the tomb of Tutankhamun. And the peculiar thing about this is that we know that the tomb of Tutankhamun was never opened, right? But actually, it was opened twice, and some things were stolen from it. What are the things that were stolen? Not gold, not silver, but the perfumes and the ointments that were put inside these jars. How did we know that? Because we found these jars open, lidless. So this means that they were opened and it's contained, like the thing that is inside, were poured into the bags and the thieves run away with it. Also, we're going to discuss the education and the scribes. And this man here who has been sitting down like this for like 3,000 years or 4,000 years. So we are going also to discuss the crafts, the sports, the music and dance. And believe me, the ancient Egyptians had a variety of games and they had variety of sports. And some of these sports were like martial arts like this. This were like for the special forces. This is like the trainings of the special forces and how they were trained. And also we're going to discuss the music. And in the Egyptian Museum, there are some of the musical instruments that still exist till now. So maybe if we opened one of them, we will be able to listen to what the music that the ancient Egyptians had. The same thing with the perfume jars. If we open the showcases that house them, maybe we can smell what did the ancient Egyptians smell. Let me give you an example. You see these ones? They are the lake. I dare if one of you can do this. You see here, we have this trumpet. It belongs to King Tutankhamun, and this is called a sistrum. This is like, it's shaped like this, and it makes the sound of like, you know, like the, it's like shaking stuff because it's metal, hits each other. But the more interesting thing is this trumpet. This trumpet, it was discovered along with the things found in the tomb of Tutankhamun. And in 1939, the scholars decided that they can try it. They can try to blow it and hear the sound that the ancient Egyptians had. And they actually did that. And let us hear it. Okay, so this is a small part of it, but you imagine that this is a sound that the ancient Egyptians heard thousands of years ago. This is really fascinating, right? So Dr. Zahawa said in 2011 that this trumpet is played one time in 1939, and guess what happened months after that? 1939, famous something happened. Yes, exactly, World War II. Exactly. So he said that it was played in 1939, and a month later, World War II broke out. And then it was played in 1967, and the 6 Days War between Egypt and Israel broke out. Then it was played in 1990, and what happened? The Gulf War happened, and I also got born in 1997. And then in 2011, it was played again, and the revolution broke out. This is according to him. I don't know if that is true or not, but this is what he said. Maybe when I meet him another time, I can ask him about that if he has some sources or something. So, we are going to discuss also the social classes and the government of the ancient Egyptians. The important thing here that I want to say that these topics 100% guarantee that no other school in Egypt are teaching them. And they are presented in a way that I also guarantee that no other school teaching them. Okay, maybe now you're asking yourselves, maybe you're exaggerating, right? Like, I'm working here, so I have to say that, right? I mean, as we say in Arabic, well, actually, let me tell you something. I have been working as a tourist guide since 11 years. I tour guide a lot of international schools. And these schools, they were making special programs for touring ancient Egyptian sites for the students. And they get like some brief notes before they go on these tours. So they have like a special program for that. Well, here, we are the first school to make these topics as an actual curriculum. And this curriculum is not only historical things, but also things that are about the culture and the life of the ancient Egyptians. So, yes, we are the only school that is teaching Egyptology. And not only the topics that I've discussed, but also we are going to have a well summarized, to the point, history of Egypt. And it's going to be covered along from year 1 to year 8. So, our goal, my goal, is the students to realize how great their ancestors were, how much they added to the world, and how much pride is to say, I am Egyptian, I am the son of the Nile. And by the end of this course, we will know why Egyptians should be proud to be Egyptians. You see here, Mes Kemet, which means born in Egypt. Can you guess where is this picture from? Anyone? It's from the birth certificate that is issued nowadays. You will find it on the side, written, but in a small script, and it says like this: Mes Kemet, born in Egypt. Thank you for your listening. I hope I didn't take much time with my colleagues. Please welcome now Mr. Bruno Laval Rial, the head of the Activities and Event Department. Thank you.